Section 2-3, Part 2. Solve the equation 12 equals 2, 3/4 n plus 5. There are multiple ways to solve an equation that contains fractions. But I'm going to solve this problem just like I've been solving. I'm going to isolate the variable term. I want to get 3/4 n on one side by itself. The first step that I'll take is I will subtract 5 from both sides. Subtracting 5 from both sides, the 5's cancel, and I end up with 12 minus 5 equals to 7, equals to 3/4 n. Now, I'm going to solve this problem by eliminating the fraction. One way to solve this problem is to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3/4. The reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. To determine the reciprocal, you simply flip the fraction. The numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. The reason that I am going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal is because any time that you take a fraction, if you multiply it by the reciprocal, you get 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1. So remember, your ultimate goal in solving every equation is to get a 1 in front of n. So if I multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/3, notice I would get 12/12 n. If I multiply 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12, and I still have my n. And we all know 12 divided by 12 gives you 1 n on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, to multiply a fraction time a whole number, place 7/1. Now you can multiply straight across. You have 4 times 7 is 28, and 3 times 1 gives you 3. We cannot reduce that fraction. Therefore, my final answer is n is equal to 28/3. Now, let's look at another problem involving fractions. With this problem, you see I have x/2. There's your fraction. That's the same thing as 1/2 x, 1/2. I could look at it in that way as well. So one way I could rewrite this as 1/2 x plus 7. 1/2 x is the same thing as x divided by 2. So I can look at this. I need to isolate my variable terms, subtracting 7 from both sides. The 7's cancel on the right-hand side. -20 minus 7 is -27 equals to 1/2 x. Next, what I could do here is to undo the multiplication that the fraction is doing to the variable, and to make me get 1x, I will multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 2/1. Multiplying both sides by 2/1. Notice you do not multiply both sides by 2/1 in the very beginning of the problem. You don't multiply both sides by the reciprocal until you get it down to 2 terms, one on the left and one on the right. This is the step where you multiply both sides by the reciprocal, once you get the variable term by itself. So I have 2 times -27 would give me -54 equals 2. On the right-hand side, we all know I get 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 divided by 2x gives me 1x. So your final answer on that problem is x equals negative 54.